Right now, Madison police are asking for the community's help after the shooting death of a 15-year-old girl. What the urban triage says the city needs to do.
Plus, if you thought today was wet, wait until tomorrow's rain. There's an alert day, and the forecast will share just how much rainfall is expected.
And as the Israel-Hamas war escalates, so does the humanitarian crisis. Survivors recount the horrors they've faced in the days since the attacks. That's all coming up at 10. The rain keeps adding up across much of southern Wisconsin.
There's a lot more rain coming as well. Meteorologist Alex Harrington is tracking the rain right now, and he can tell us just how much we can expect. Alex?
Yeah, Eric and Charlotte, it is adding up across southern Wisconsin. We got a lot more rain to go. Some places picking up 1, 2, 3 inches of rain by the time we get to the end of the wet weather part of this weather system. Let's take a look at our Doppler track right now. Here showing scattered showers from Arena to Cross Plains to Wanakee to Madison, south and east towards Cottage Grove, but a little bit dry over the southwestern portion of Dane County down towards Belleville. 6-hour future track showing those scattered showers, maybe a clap of thunder out there as we carry on through the wee hours of your Friday morning. But this is just the primer before the main weather event comes into the area. As we plan your Friday, showers, periods of them all day long, temperatures in the 50s and windy conditions enter alert day conditions. This is what we're expecting here, folks, across all of southern Wisconsin. Very heavy rainfall, localized amounts up to 3 inches possible, and other conditions to be concerned about here on your Friday. Could be looking at some local ponding of water. Rises on rivers are expected, but we're not expecting river flooding, and that's owing to the dry conditions that we have had with our drought. And again, those leaves can clog those storm drains. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll break down and track the heavy rain hour by hour.
Alex, thank you. Madison police continue to search for 5 people directly involved in a shooting Tuesday night on the Far East Side that left a 15-year-old girl dead and 3 others hurt.
It happened outside an apartment complex that is no stranger to law enforcement. Tuesday's murder was the second in nearly 3 months at the Harmony at Grandview Commons Apartments on Milwaukee Street. Since the start of 2020, there have been more than 1,300 calls for police service there. Hours before Tuesday's murder, officers patrolled the area near the complex 12 times. Police have shared these images from surveillance video showing a vehicle believed to be a Lexus SUV pulling up to the area with 4 people getting out and opening fire. A 5th person remained inside. Officers found roughly 50 shell casings and damage to multiple homes. Anyone with information that can help police make an arrest is asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014.
And residents of the Harmony at Grandview Commons are not the only ones pushing the community to do something to curb that violence.
Armand Rahman sat down with members of Urban Triage to see what they think the city's next steps should be.
Yeah, following the tragic shooting of Kaisha Miller, Urban Triage put out a call for the community to come together to heal and make a plan moving forward. Shamika Harper is the development manager for Urban Triage, but she says Kaisha Miller's death hit her as a mother.
I don't feel comfortable with them going anywhere. And what do you do? Because they're young adults and they want to have life.
Harper says focusing on youth was the first step. Urban Triage teams offered counseling and support services at East High School on Wednesday and La Follette High School on Thursday.
Being there for them and finding out what they need to feel better and to, really feel as though they are part of the community, they have a say, they have a voice, and they're being heard.
If you have a child you think was affected by what happened, Harper says it's best to be open.
I think the best way is just to ask them how they're feeling right now at this moment and let them talk to you. And if you feel as though you're not in a place to be able to give advice or it's hard for you emotionally or whatever, please reach out to us.
So far, the nonprofit agrees with residents that there needs to be more direct resources and pathways for youth.
I think right now we need to really come together and get the funding that we need in order to get more places for youth to be at and to be safe.
Next, Urban Triage plans to hold town halls in the community to devise a plan before looping in the school district, city, and higher officials because they say gun violence and youth violence know no bounds.
It's definitely not just to that apartment complex. We would be very ignorant if we thought that. Right now, this is happening around the city.
The family is asking for privacy as they mourn, but are planning to speak publicly in the coming days.
One of the 3 men convicted in the 2020 deadly shooting of an 11-year-old Madison girl was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
20-year-old Jerry Ward Jr. pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless homicide as party to a crime. He was 17 at the time when he and 2 others were arrested for the murder of Anissa Scott. Prosecutors allege that Ward, Perion Carrion, and Andre Brown were targeting a man driving the vehicle that Scott was in, but she was shot instead and later died. The other men convicted in Scott's death received lengthier sentences. Brown sentenced to 35 years in prison. Carrion received 30 years in his sentence. A man living in Connecticut is accused of scamming elderly Wisconsin residents out of nearly $200,000. The U.S. Justice Department says 26-year-old Matthew Ramos Soto would call people pretending to be a relative in need of bail money. He then traveled around the state, allegedly with others, to retrieve the cash in person. $17,000 came from a single resident in Fitchburg. Prosecutors say this happened over a 5-day period last October. Right now, Ramos Soto is in custody in the state of Michigan. If convicted, he could be sentenced to 20 years in prison. Lawmakers at the Capitol today approved a slate of transgender-related bills. 2 of those bills would ban trans Wisconsinites from participating in women's sports at the K-12 and college level. Another would ban gender-affirming care. Republicans argued this is necessary to protect young Wisconsinites, while Democrats say it will harm trans youth. However, those bills are almost certainly dead on arrival when they hit Governor Tony Evers' desk.
Republican Representative Tyler August from Lake Geneva reiterated Wisconsin's position behind Israel amid the violence in Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank. This morning, he said he wants to make it clear that the Wisconsin State Assembly stands with our friends in Israel. August also said lawmakers have introduced a bipartisan resolution that condemns the atrocities that are being committed by Hamas. Democratic Representative Lisa Subeck also condemned the attacks. She said as a Jewish Wisconsinite, the resolution was important because the attacks on Israel are attacks on Jewish people everywhere. After days of large-scale Israeli airstrikes, the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip is heading toward a humanitarian crisis. The siege, which has killed more than 1,500 people, comes after last weekend's Hamas attack on southern Israel, killing more than 1,200.
As Skylar Henry reports, that was the largest loss of Jewish life in a single day since the Holocaust.
Israel says it will block deliveries of food, fuel, and medicine into Gaza until Hamas frees more than 100 hostages taken during the horrific attack on Israel. The morgue at Gaza's biggest hospital overflowed as the death toll surged after 6 days of Israeli airstrikes.
The United States stands with Israel and with its people. Today, tomorrow, every day.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who came in a show of support.
President Biden was absolutely correct in calling this sheer evil.
Blinken visited a Tel Aviv donation center. A couple told him how they survived Hamas's deadly attack on a music festival.
We were saved by miracle, but there are friends that we love that aren't.
The Biden administration says the safety of Americans stuck in Israel is a top priority. The U.S. plans to arrange evacuation flights starting this Friday. Dr. Ron Lobel told CBS News' Nora O'Donnell that he saw not only the horrors of Hamas in the hospital where he works, but also at his home near Gaza.
I'm wondering what you think about the amount of time it took for the Israeli forces to respond.
I can't even understand, because when a bird hits the fence, there is an alarm. We know about it. When a donkey touches the fence, the alarm is set. When somebody gets close to the fence, there are automatic weapons that start shooting. Nothing of that happened.
Now, as Israel prepares for a possible ground war in Gaza, civilians and soldiers from last weekend's terror are still being laid to rest. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
In Minnesota, 5 law enforcement officers are recovering after they were shot earlier this morning. The officers were doing a search warrant. There's no word on their conditions, but the officers are expected to recover. Aerial footage shows a shirtless man being taken into custody. This after he was hit by a non-lethal round and arrested with the help of a police canine. He was taken to a hospital for treatment. Louisiana Representative Steve Scalise has dropped out of the race for House Speaker.
His decision comes as it was becoming clear that not enough fellow Republicans would support his bid.
If you look at where our conference is, there's still work to be done. Our conference still has to come together and is not there. There are still some people that have their own agendas.
The House cannot conduct any legislative business until it can vote a successor to replace ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Very lucky person out in California has won the Powerball jackpot worth $1.76 billion. That winning ticket sold in Frazier Park, California. It was the second largest Powerball jackpot and second largest U.S. lottery jackpot ever won. After last night's win, well, California residents should be enticed to play because that state keeps pulling those winning tickets.
I think most of you know this is our $3 billion Powerball jackpot in the span of a year hit here in California. California is home to more lottery players than any other state, so it doesn't totally surprise me, and we're thrilled to celebrate it with them.
If the winner chooses to cash in on the lump sum, the total would be more than $770 million. That's before federal taxes. Lottery winnings are not taxed by the state of California. The deadline to lose federal funding for daycares is months away. We're taking a look at the cost to parents here in Wisconsin when it comes to finding and affording child care.
Up next, we are breaking down the options and what's needed to solve the child care crisis.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Winner of the Best Evening Newscast by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
This week's Hy-Vee hot deals are an 8-ounce New York strip, $5.99. Select Frito-Lay snacks, $2.29 each when you buy 3. And Yoplait, 10 for $6, plus a 10-cent fuel saver. Only at Hy-Vee.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like half-off Barbie travel dolls, just $9.99. Hot Wheels multi-loop race offsets, only $19.99. And assorted mini brands are buy one, get one half price. Plus, rewards members get a free $5 gift card with every $50 Toyland purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone, starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Bartlett Shear's glowing production is enthralling. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
At Overture Center, November 21st through 26th. Get your tickets today at overture.org.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you feel matters. Unity Point Health Meritor, a partner of UW Health, know how much you matter to this world.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison.
Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Get members-only prices. Bananas, H-Perks price 39 cents a pound. And Tide, H-Perks price $9.97. Make the switch or sign up today. It's free and easy.
Do we have any baseball fans here today?
He's one of the biggest hitters in baseball history.
A-Rod is in the house.
Plus, the Golden Bachelor, Gary Turner.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Parents know all too well about the child care crisis our state and country finds itself in. Many families struggle to find affordable daycare if they can find any daycare at all.
Now, the problem is sure to get worse as federal funding, known in Wisconsin as child care counts, runs out in the coming months. Leah Linscheid is looking into the problem, the proposed solutions on the table, and what's next for parents dealing with this child care crisis.
Maybe you've heard this statistic before. Putting 2 kids in daycare for a single year costs more than annual tuition at UW-Madison. The average is $25,000, and sometimes it's a lot more. Well, thanks to a loss in federal funding, it could be going up soon and exponentially.
So we weren't really honestly sure for a while.
Deciding to have a child can feel a little like a crash course in calculus.
We did wait for a while in order to be like a little bit more secure in our jobs.
Carly Olson crunched the numbers.
Honestly, like worked multiple jobs prior to save up.
While she considered the question, can we even afford kids? Carly compiled a list of 40 daycares to contact. Half the numbers were dead. Another third had wait lists.
Ultimately, what we landed on was there was one of all of those who had a spot when we would need it. And we were just lucky enough that, like, you know, the price was not so cost prohibitive.
Dust off that old arithmetic table. We asked Carly to calculate the cost.
We have to pay $20 a week to hold the spot until we need care. And then only 25% of that applies to your first week. From there, of course, you pay your weekly fee, which I think it'll be something around, you know, $330, $350, something like that a week.
$350 a week times 52 weeks. How much do you think that is?
Gotta be like $16,000 a year.
$18,000.
Oh, cool. Cool, yeah.
The economic impact of childcare on the state of Wisconsin is $1.9 billion with a B.
From algebra to econ, there's an equation here that impacts more than the tens of thousands of parents in Wisconsin. According to Ruth Schmidt with the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association, it involves the entire economy.
Childcare drives our economy. Without childcare, parents can't work outside the home. And without parents working outside of the home, our economy flounders. We have businesses that can't hire people. We have communities that become unlivable for young families because there's no care available. So it's a spiral. It has a spiraling impact.
It gets worse. Federal pandemic funding that's kept costs from rising these past few years will run out in January. Schmidt says it'll force centers to increase prices. And who picks up the bill? Wisconsin's families.
On the high end, we're probably talking closer to 35 to 40% tuition increases.
The state is searching for solutions. Governor Evers offered more than $300 million, money from the state's surplus, for child care centers. The Republican-led Senate says it will likely make changes to that proposal. They're putting together their own package of bills, offering solutions like a child care savings account for families and a grant program for centers. They're also suggesting an increase in the child-to-teacher ratio from 4-to-1 to 6-to-1, as well as dropping the caretaker age requirement from 18 to 16.
They are not going to address the issue of access and affordability.
Schmidt isn't convinced any of these solutions are the silver bullet. Meanwhile, microeconomics are playing out inside Carly's household.
Does the cost of daycare have any impact on your future decisions on your career or family planning?
Yeah, I think absolutely. How could it not, right?
Like many moms, she's doing the math and wondering what adds up, her career or more kids.
You think about how could you have multiple kids in childcare? It just feels impossible, honestly.
Well, Ruth Schmidt of the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association has one ask from parents. Contact your legislator. She says she hears from lawmakers all the time and say parents aren't telling them that they're strapped.
Schmidt says this is the one way you can help make a change at the government level when it comes to the child care crisis. Meteorologist Alex Harrington is back with the first warn forecast tracking alert day conditions.
Yeah, Charlotte, we're really just hours away for these alert day conditions to really take hold across southern Wisconsin. It's part of our 3 things that you need to know. The scattered showers and windy overnight conditions will turn to a heavy rain and a consistent gusty wind presence carrying on all the way into your Saturday. We could have wind gusts in excess of 35 miles per hour. It's that heavy rain that we're really keeping an eye on here in the First Warn Weather Team. Some places could see upwards of 3 inches of rain by the time we get in to your Saturday. Just look at some of these impressive amounts. According to our future track precipitation model, 1 inch in Boscobel to 1.5 inches in Lone Rock, 2 inches in Madison, some places again approaching 3 inches of rain in some isolated spots with this weather system, and with it also is going to be very windy conditions. Doppler track showing a few scattered showers, really rather kind of benign conditions out there right now. Although I was out on the patio earlier, the wind is starting to ramp up with those showers stretching from, let's say, north of Cross Plains to Wanakee to Sun Prairie right now. But we will see those showers and a couple claps of thunder redevelop in periods as we carry on through the overnight. According to our future track model, as we widen out here, folks, we can actually track this weather system hour by hour not only with our future track model, but also my handy dandy little weather monitor here that will track the temperatures, the precipitation chances for Madison proper. Look at the rain eyeing up the Mississippi River by 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, then rapidly spreading across the rest of southern Wisconsin. Look at that here in Madison, 52 degrees at noon, 100% chance of rain out there. You can see that with our future track model. Keeping the rain showers, clap or two of thunder out there as we carry on into your Friday afternoon. Look at those winds ramping up to 20 miles per hour. Those are not the gusts. The gusts could be 35 or maybe even 40 miles per hour in some places. Then that rain continues to pivot across the area on your Friday evening. This time on your Friday night, that rain continues to the north and towards the east. We could see that rainfall actually make its way back down into southern Wisconsin early Saturday. So let's track the impacts here. Downpours expected Friday a.m., Friday p.m. The wind lasting all the way through Saturday morning through your Saturday afternoon. Good news is the flooding threat is low because of our drought conditions. The thunderstorm threat is also low as well. This impactful weather system is going to stick around here for your Saturday. That Badger game forecast, things should be starting to dry out a bit on your Saturday afternoon, but those gusty winds are going to stick around. Gusty winds will stick around on your Sunday too. For those folks that do outdoor work for a living, the farmers out there, that harvesting forecast is not looking good over the course of the weekend, but good news is those conditions will improve early next week for folks that do that outdoor work to get back at it.
And coming up in sports, Wisconsin making it look easy on the ice. How the Badger women used a 5-goal first period to take down the Mavericks. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join the judgment-free zone during our Super Saver Sale and save $3 a month when you join for $1 down and just $10 a month. No commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 13th.
Once you pick up an Arby's cheesesteak, it's gonna be tough to set that thing back down. Hey, put it back. The commercial is not over. Arby's, we have the meat.
Who's always behind the scenes helping make safe, regulated childcare possible in Wisconsin? DCF. We're your trusted source in support of quality childcare. Learn more at qualitychildcare.wi.gov.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join the judgment-free zone during our Super Saver Sale and save $3 a month when you join for $1 down and just $10 a month. No commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 13th.
You want to talk about offensive firepower? Look no further than the Wisconsin women's hockey team. In 4 games, they've scored 39 goals, and them lighting the lamp was on display in their WCHA opener. Badgers looking for their 100th win over the Mavericks of Minnesota State. First period, Kirsten Sims stops and then sends a snipe into the back of the net for one of her 2 goals in the period. Then later, it's the KK Harvey to Lacey Eden connection. On the power play, Eden deflects the puck in off Harvey's shot. She also had 2 goals in the first. Wisconsin shuts out Minnesota State and moves to 5-0 on the year with a 6-0 win. Kelly Sheffield doesn't talk about rankings, records, or streaks to his team, so I will. As you know, the Badgers are the #1 team in the land and are a perfect 15-0 on the year. 1 more win, and they'll tie the record for the best start in program history. They haven't lost a Big Ten match since September 25th of last year and have won 21 straight sets. That's dominating your opponent, something Sheffield wants his squad to do.
You're trying to get your players not to just, all right, where's your opponent, and then try to play just a little bit above that. You know, every time that you go out, let's try to be as good as what we can possibly be. And you know, and so there's an element of, yeah, I want our players to have a mindset of dominating.
The Wisconsin-Iowa rivalry renews in 2 days for meeting number 97 between the 2 programs, and this one has a little twist to it. Deacon Hill is coming back to Madison as the Hawkeyes QB1. The former Badger transferred to Iowa City in the offseason, then was thrust into the starting job after Cade McNamara tore his ACL 2 weeks ago. Now, Hill really hasn't played since high school, but the Badgers know one thing about him. He's got a big arm.
He's very calm. Doesn't get rattled very easily. He's got a heck of an arm. And so we're going to have to, you know, find ways to rattle him.
Super nice kid who's humble and works hard. So, you know, I'm glad that he's been able to find some success there. And, you know, wishing him the best of luck on Saturday. Hopefully not too much luck.
For more Badger football, be sure to tune in to this week's Wisconsin Huddle tomorrow night at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. And don't forget, you can stop out to a live taping Monday nights at 6:30 at Buck and Honey's in Monona. High school football, Madison East hosting Middleton, and the Cardinals were ready to go. First quarter already up 7-0, and they play a little hot potato with the football. Isaiah Oliver is the one that keeps it, and he bounces off would-be tacklers with ease and drags a couple more into the end zone. Middleton goes up 14-0. Then later in the quarter, more ground and pound. This time it's Gabe Pacini calling his own number and spinning in for 6 more. Cardinals win the regular season finale 49-6. We're back after this.
It'll be a night of laughter and fun. It's the Bob and Tom Show Comedy Tour with comedians Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Jeff Oskey. Performing live Saturday, November 4th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out, building the highest quality doors in a wide selection of styles. Pick up this Half Moon light steel door for $284.99 after rebate. Finish your projects with a foam sealant you can rely on. Loctite expanding spray foam fills, seals, and insulates windows and door jambs without bowing. Right now, pick up Loctite tight window and door foam for just $649 after 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
If you have Medicare and Medicaid, iCare's dual eligible special needs plans help you get both care and coverage. Benefits include $1,800 per year to pay for eligible groceries and over-the-counter items. Whatever you don't spend carries over each month. Receive a $4,000 a year dental allowance and pay nothing for covered prescriptions all year long, even the brand name ones. Call us today and a licensed sales agent will help you find out if you're eligible. Rest easy. iCare is looking out for you and your health.
I'm Randy Bump with Bump Farms, and this is my John Deere.
So I'm a sixth-generation farmer. Our farm was homesteaded here in 1846. I think the thing that makes Sloan stand out the most for me is probably the people, the products, and the service. Whether it's bulk oil delivery, bulk DEF delivery, the Sloan helpline, I mean, they're always there for me. And I've actually had them open up on a Sunday and get parts for me so I can keep a combine running. And that's why I think Sloan's first.
Phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
The moms have a brand new show.
Are you having a great time?
I'm Mom So Hard Ladies Night. Saturday, November 18th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
Closed captioning sponsored by Community Shares of Wisconsin's Workplace Giving Campaign.
Tonight, over a week now since Republicans ousted Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy in favor of their preferred leader, madness. New tonight.
Now we go back to Alex. One final check of the forecast. It's going to be rainy tomorrow night.
Yeah,
right?
Big impacts tomorrow. Let's break those impacts down here, folks. Look at that. Downpours expected Friday morning through Friday afternoon. Wind gusts to 35 miles per hour. That's going to last clear up to the Badger game. Good news is the flooding threat is low because of the drought conditions. Thunderstorm threat is low as well. Speaking of the Badger game on your Saturday, you're probably wondering what's the weather going to be like. Chance of a shower at kickoff, then things should start to dry out, but it will stay windy through that Badger football forecast. Staying windy on your Sunday and then starting to dry out early next week, so folks like my farmer friends can get back into the fields early next week.
Watch the final drive tomorrow. Those highlights are going to be a mess, right? All that rain.
I'm staying inside.
So muddy football.
I'm staying inside.
Thanks for joining us at 10, folks.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.